Good morning, everybody. All right. EU, I'm not really looking at too much. What else we got? I'm going to just put a message in the Discord. Did anybody have issues getting in this morning? I might have to redo the link for some reason. It's a little bit buggy, but I'm not really sure why that is. Good stuff, good stuff. Okay. Announcements. And alrighty, cool. Let's get into this and start chit-chatting about what's going on. So yeah, for me personally, like the next setup for EU, I'm like, we're getting deeper and deeper in price. Obviously, we're not looking to take sells this deep down. Ideally, we're going to want to see some form of a pullback to continue. At least that's what I'm waiting for just the more high probability areas. GU, on the other hand, has chalked up, just order flow shift. We're back into this region. Let's just have a quick look at the 15 on this one. Coming into a flip zone here. It does take liquidity. Yeah, I'm not going to trade that. Okay, so let's go down to the 4-hour and let's have a quick peek at gold. Gold has just been a menace the last little while. I can't remember who it was, but we've posted all the different supply chains to take down to here. Just a beautiful freaking. We've been talking about these sells for quite some time, to be honest. Just I got involved on my first sell in here, I think, and then we had that pullback, and yeah, you could have just crushed these sells all the way down, to be honest. Amazing stuff. Cool. Let's take a look at some of the other pairs to see what's going on. So I'm probably going to be pretty interested in GJ sells at some point. We're making highs, lows, highs, lows, highs, lows, highs, and I'm going to guess that we're probably going to come down to at least these regions down here. So this is probably the most interesting pair to me, and I think I sort of talked about this a little bit last night. So let's just have a quick peek at what's going on the 15. So we have chalked down. We're pro trend, not leaving from any relevant demand. Just want to have a quick peek at what is happening here. Get the initial tap, it gets swept. There's probably some lower time frame stuff in here that we could maybe look at. Yeah, this thing's just dying. I'm good, Mr. D. Doing well, man. Just chilling, just chilling. All right, so we get the tap in, we get that chalk, come back up. This would have been a beautiful sell on GJ. Yeah, around 6:30 a.m. Eastern time. So towards the tail end of London. Anybody had a look at that or not? But yeah, we'll have to wait and see what ends up happening there. So let's go back out and see if there's anything else that sets up in our majors. So this is another one that I've been kind of monitoring. Obviously, like we've been on just a rampage moving up. So we're looking to trade this. Ideally, I'd like to trade this down into possibly into here, possibly even down into here, to then take this and be able to kind of move that up into new highs potentially. So we'll have to look at some of the finer details on the 15 to see what's up. You can see, I think we just to say liquidate above this high, which is nice. So we're actually mitigating this supply. Yeah, so this is kind of running away on us now, but we could potentially start to look for some sells. I'd like to see this sort of come back into, we've obviously had the 15-minute chalk now. I would say that the chalk kind of happened up in here, and then maybe a pushback up and then spike back down, right? That's kind of what I'm hoping for. So we'll monitor this area. Ideally, we want to see a sweep into the premium. We got to see this sort of break first. So what I'm going to do in terms of alerts, USD JPY is probably my favorite one. Looking at this right now for the reentry. Oh, you're looking at the same one on UJ. UJ is a really nice pair too. Really, really liking how this is setting up. So I'm just going to mark this up. This will be 15 internal structure break. Cool. And then that just gives us an idea of where that internal structure lets go. We might see a push off of here too. I would still see this as a demand failure as well as a demand failure probably up here in the nitty gritty, to be honest. So even if we started moving up from here like this, if we got realignment, I'd be looking to trade this down. So we'll just monitor this. UJ is probably my favorite setup right now. Got wicked out by 0. Yeah, it happens. It's all good. USD CAD, this thing's going to freaking pound town. Still holding that with volume. I think we're going to see some pretty substantial prices. I would say that we're going to probably take this out before we start to move back up, to be honest. At least take this level before we can start swinging back up. We've got loads of liquidity resting here. There's nothing to take into this level. This becomes liquidity to take into liquidity to target is kind of how I'm viewing this. So we'll see how it sort of shapes up. So my take profit is going to be underneath these levels. We could possibly look for some scales at this point in USD CAD. This thing's just going to start melting off. So even somewhere in here, this might be a good level to start looking at the flip zone interaction. You can see the it's not something I'm looking to scale into right now. I'm more curious about UJ and kind of diversifying across these ones. If I'm being completely honest, let's just see what's happening here. Awesome. Get my MetaTrader 4 up, get all that stuff set, and go from there. Let's go like this, and I just want to move this over. So just bear with me for a few seconds, guys. Got the alerts set. We're just going to sit tight and yeah, just basically see what alerts get triggered, if at all any, and we can start to make some moves hopefully today. If not, you'll be very well positioned to understand what it is that we're looking for. Can you explain the structure on M15? Yes, I will in just 2 minutes, if you wouldn't mind. I'm just getting my stuff signed in. Okay. Mm-hmm. All right, what do we got here? Okay. We'll go over to UJ. Bear with me, I just want to get set up. Have the right charts on. Okay, so let's go over to UJ and explain our structure. 15. Let's go over to the 4 first. So first thing I'm looking at is, and again, this is just kind of understanding a little bit more of the liquidity concepts behind all of this, right? So if you look, you know, we've essentially pushed through, we've broken structure, we've made a new high, we've come down, we've essentially not quite broken, we've very, very softly broken through here and immediately seen this recovery come back up, come back in, and we're just having a hard time breaking around on the 4 hour. To me, this looks like liquidity is forming across the lows to be able to continue this way. So more of the details on the 15 would be essentially looking at, yeah, we're still in technically bullish structure, to be honest with you. So your structure point in terms of swing points. So swing, we're still operating within this swing and this swing, right? In terms of 4 hour, but we can trade against the 4 hour, right? So that's your swing and swing. And then, yeah, substructure, 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 internal structure break, come back into the low. Yeah, you might be right on waiting on shorts, to be honest with you. But the way that I sort of viewed this is, like I said, I'm looking for these lows to get taken. So I'm trading this into a counter trend move against higher time frame order flow, I guess. Yeah, this might not even be something that you should technically take. I would say that like possibly looking for a long here would be about the only way that we could. But yeah, like just looking at, you know, how this is operating, like I said, like this is, you know, possibly internal structure break right here that we're looking at. Once we break down, we've got liquidity to take, right? We get the initial tap into the POY, we get swept, come up, sweep. Ideally, if we break down, we want to see this kind of breakdown and take out all this liquidity, right? So yeah, structure is still like the swing structure that we're sitting in is from here to here, but we're looking to trade this against that swing structure into all of this liquidity, right? That's kind of how I'm viewing this. Okay, so what else we got here? Euro JPY. Now you can see that this comes from a take on liquidity as well. Beautiful area. This whole region, get that initial tap, swap through, boom, come up. Sells were valid here. Probably take these down into this liquidity at least. If anybody's in those EJ cells. Yeah, so what else we got here? Seems like we're going to get some sort of a push here and then probably a snap down, potentially come up into here and then break down is what I'm looking for. Or on the flip side, if we break down like this, I'd look to see something like this and then potentially start falling down. But we could also look for longs. Oops. USD CAD. Same thing here. If we have a level of liquidity to take, we can take this down. See how we just to say tap in. Ideally, we'd like to see that get swept. So what I want to do is USD CAD we want to look at for sells, USD JPY we want to look for sells. Potentially look at stuff in here too, actually. Yeah, this is just counter stuff. So swing, swing. We want to be trading into this way. CT. Yeah, so like I said, this is a really good area that I'd like to see broken. This probably won't happen until tomorrow, but I sweep into here and then dropping this quite a bit further. That's a setup that I'll have on my watch list to potentially start taking. So I have a question for you guys. So right now, I just want to give you like a little leak of what it is that we're sort of building out for the Fractal Markets Foundation series. And I would love to hear some thoughts. Obviously, like we're not going to be going on the 1 minute and flicking through candle by candle. So I want to be able to talk about a couple of the different things that we're going to be offering. So I'm thinking of doing, so we'd like to have core concepts, obviously, similar to other communities where we have the, here, I'll show you exactly what the curriculum sort of looks like. And I think what we'd like to do is get into, so core concepts, and I had a little epiphany this morning of having something like a sauce pot of specific things like entries, management, POI selection as a separate sort of category. So I'll just show you what it is that we're looking. Where are we? Fractal Markets, tasks, core concepts, curriculum. And feel free to shoot me a DM or message me or message the group right now, even if you wanted to. Where are we? Notion, share. And so these are the basics of what we're going to be covering, just to give you an idea, kind of tease it to the community a little wee bit. So we intro to structure mapping, bullish structure application, bearish structure application. So these will be more chart specific. This will be more infographic. And we're kind of breaking these down into like anywhere from 7 to 15-minute long videos so that they're easy to kind of digest. I don't want them being an hour and a half, 2 hours long to cover a concept. I think less is more in terms of like actually grasping the core strategy, supply and demand, the creation of supply and demand, buyers versus sellers. And then we'll look into like the intro to like the POI flowchart, and then we'll look at application and further stuff. Higher time frame narrative, understanding higher time frame narrative, premium discount. This shit is fractal, going through all the different time frames and how they relate to the higher time frame. Order flow 101, bullish order flow application, bearish order flow application. Liquidity concepts. So this is just going to be the general stuff, and then we're going to get into a lot more of like the advanced stuff for when to look for structure mapping, when to look for structural sweeps, all these different things. So most of these videos are already done. We're just waiting on the back end stuff for our website, as well as the front end stuff for our website, which should be done. The projection, the last that we talked about it yesterday, is probably within a few weeks to have it operational. So intro to liquidity, expectational order flow liquidity, mitigation liquidity, equal highs and equal lows, LTT and LTT, entry models, flowchart explained, pro-trend pro order flow, pro-trend counter order flow, super simple. Management, we're going to have a segment on all wars are won before they are ever fought. Having an exit strategy is part of the actual planning process. Break even, partials, and take profits, our interpretation of how we sort of do these. We're going to have a whole series on data logging, back testing versus case studies, how to actually design them properly, how to annotate them properly, and then we'll get into the more advanced stuff, which is I think what we're going to call the sauce pot. And this is going to be more POI selection. It's going to be more advanced liquidity concepts, in-field liquidity concepts. So anyways, you can see like we've got an abundance of things that are coming for the community right now. I don't want to tease too much because Dave will probably kill me, so I'm going to get off of there, but we've got so much shit in the works. So if you guys are sitting here and wondering like, what's next for Fractal Markets, it's like we've got a lot of stuff coming, a lot of stuff. We're going to be scaling the community quite a bit, looking to really take over the industry, to be honest. But we want to do it in a way that is going to be efficient and effective also for the members. So what we're probably going to do is have at some point, this is going to be probably 6 month to 12-month projection, but we're going to have a tiering system. And I kind of leaked this out a little bit before, but what the idea is to be able to have you kind of grouped and open up separate channels within Discord based off of how you test on specific homework. If you don't participate in homework, you'll be allocated to a specific group so that you're literally within the same sort of caliber of trader to be able to interact with people who are on your same level. I feel like a lot of times when you get into bigger communities, having that boundary between somebody who's learning what a change of character is and somebody who's looking at two different kinds of inducement for their entries, like we don't necessarily it's kind of like when worlds collide, right? So I feel it kind of deters people away or deters people away from being in these bigger communities, but we kind of want to have the best of both worlds where we can kind of cater to everybody's sort of knowledge set. So yeah, there's lots of stuff coming, guys. I'm just trying to show you that, like, you know, there's a lot of things working in the background right now. We've been talking about it for quite some time. It's become a very, very big project, and it's become a #1 priority. So yeah, over the course of the next few months, there's going to be a huge transformation in how we sort of deliver our content and what it is that we do within this community. So yeah, big things coming. Anyways, back to the charts. Anyway, and the whole reason I mentioned this is obviously not just to dangle the carrot in front of your nose. It's obviously nice to see what's happening on the back end of things. But the reason I'm mentioning all of this is we have that beautiful section on our Discord server where there's content suggestions. Those do not get thrown away. Those don't, like, we don't overlook these. We want to know what the most valuable components or the missing components are in your trading journey, as well as ours. A lot of the time there's stuff that we're like, oh, we didn't even think of doing a video on that or a segment on that. So the more that you give us, the more we can really kind of set ourselves apart from everybody else and be able to actually dial in what it is that's needed for traders within our community. So just FYI, you know, you guys are our eyes and ears, right? The whole reason we reach out is because, quite frankly, we need to know, right? We need to know what is undervalued and what we can kind of capitalize on moving forward. So just FYI, let us know what's up. I found once I see structure like you, everything else falls into place. Yeah, so I'm working on wording things a little bit better moving forward. Like, obviously you have to remember, like, I'm not just an educator. I'm actually a trader, right? Like, this is what I do. So the way that my trade plan is set up, it's very easy for me to sort of maneuver with it and kind of move like water with it. But learning how to teach it and how to make sure that somebody else can interpret it the same way that you can has been honestly probably the most challenging part of this entire venture. So yeah, bringing on Dave, you know, bringing on other team members, coaches, this is kind of where I've been able to kind of grow with how I sort of see these things and what I need to do to make these a little bit more clear. So anyways, long story short, I'm going to be getting a lot more clear on what it is that we're going to have different models, all stem from the same thing, but more specific to, okay, here's an internal structure model, here's a swing structure model, all pro trend, pro order flow stuff. But the idea is that, like, you'll be able to use the flow chart in relation to the trade idea that's set up for you. Is there a video on how to put a written trade plan together? That's a really, really good question. There is not right this second. And one of the reasons why we haven't done it is, quite frankly, we've given you the trading plan, right? So that's kind of where things are a little bit different within the community, is that, like, we've given it to you, but we can definitely set something up where we can show you how to build these things out. Let me give you a small tip. Anybody who's looking to create a trading plan more specific to, like, having that same tone of what we're already doing, but having something a little bit more tailored towards what they do, when you build a case study, and there's a reason we don't back test very much in this group, but when you build a case study, every time you do it and you annotate with your case study and you say, okay, we had equal highs resting here, we wanted this to get swept. every time you talk and you annotate every single portion of this as things build, that is literally how you build a trading plan. There's no secret, right? Like it's like when you do all these markups, when you work from, all you have to do is work from the left-hand side over to where you're trading. Once you do that and you actually have that whole thing mapped out and you've executed a trade on a case study from point A, not one, point A to point B, whatever this whole thing is, and then point B to point C on your exit strategy, that is literally what your trade plan is. So I know we haven't like explicitly said that, but yeah, we can definitely, would you guys benefit? Drop a 1 in the comments if you want me to, maybe we can look at that even this Sunday, and we can actually look at building a seminar around how to build a trade plan. Yeah, two if it's something, yeah, let's do it. Let's like somebody, can you guys just, any of you, whoever mentioned it first, can you please just mark that up in the content suggestions page? And what I'll do is I'll make sure that we cover that this weekend on how to build a trade plan. It'll still be a case study building session, but with the tone of like, okay, when you're building a trade plan, here's what you need to do in order to actually put this like pen to paper and be able to understand it moving forward. Thanks, Kaz, or Cass. Yeah, so let's do it. And yeah, my management one is the only one I don't really have a management one, to be honest with you. I look at the, like, for example, if I got involved up here, first level I would be targeting. So let me ask you this. If you were getting involved here and you have your whole trade plan built around to getting into this entry, where would be the spot that you would be taking profits here? Somewhere here. Where's the liquid region right now? Bingo. So could you just target this liquidity pool? Because what's going to happen once we hit this liquidity pool? What's the next move? It's going to start pulling back. Do you want to hold through a pullback? Probably not on a funded account, right? So targeting the pool right here, right? Underneath these lows, that's where you want to target, right? And furthermore, because we've technically made a new high, I would be looking to induce this low right here and target just maybe even this demand level. What is this move right here? This is like coming down into here. That's a 50 pip move, 2 pip stop, full volume. That's a 25-hour trade. Beautiful fucking trade. And then you don't have to worry about holding into drawdown, right? Because we're going to get a reaction here. We're going to get a reaction. It's going to go like this and then probably come back up, induce this, and then start moving back down, right? So you don't want to be holding through all this. Target liquidity, right? And like that's the best way to kind of go about these things, especially with a funded account, so that you don't have to hold trades overnight. Look, where's liquidity built? We've just taken it, and where do we have to target? Right here, right? Same thing here. Liquidity to take. Where do we have it? Right underneath this low. It's the same thing over and over. I don't like the way that I teach and the way that I trade, depending on what account I'm trading, is going to be a little bit different, right? So just for example, USD CAD, this is not an issue for me. I can hold this right here all the way down into this low, but none of you guys would ever do that because most of you guys are likely looking at either trading funded accounts. Maybe you do have a personal, I'm not sure. But the bottom line is that like you're not looking to hold through all this drawdown, right? So understanding these things from a higher time frame narrative allows you to get into these continuations that you can trade every single day to be able to target those liquid regions, right? I mean, for me, it also depends on the RR. If we get a 20R at the liquid region already, I'm pretty comfortable with taking profits, especially if I had a funded account. Exactly. So the idea with trading funded, and a lot of people sort of put, a funded account on a pedestal, right? There's my pedestal right here. I don't know, pretty good art. Funding is a mechanism or a tool that allows you to fund yourself. That's like the best way that I can put it. The end goal should always be to have your own account. I find there's a lot of psychological barriers that are in place when it comes to going through the funding process. And it's strategically done that way so that you fail, right? Like that's how they make their money. They don't make, there's no live accounts, right? It's all about getting you to be using your own psychology against yourself and knowing that, you know, if you go 2% in drawdown, oh, you're only 8% away from your overall drawdown. Like it's meant to fuck with you, right? So getting your own account is the end goal. Fusion, but I heard there's, yeah, Blueberry is who I use as my personal, honestly fantastic. The only issue that I have with Blueberry personally is if you're Canadian, I'm having issues doing deposits and stuff like that. Or at the beginning, I was having issues doing deposits because they see it as, for whatever reason, a red flag. That's my yeah, that's my only tiff. And the other thing is they have lot size restrictions. I believe it was, yeah, I think it's 40. I think they upped it to 50. I'm typically not trading over 40 lots though on my personal. So just some, I mean, you can open multiple positions, but it's similar to MFF where you can only open like, yeah, a lot size volume of 40 or 50. Hustling to get my first 100K FTMO account payout, slap 10, 20K into, and then yeah, hold trades full volume. Awesome. At the mercy of sounding stupid, been asking stupid questions, but is there also a guide for getting to a valid M15 zone before the entry of the flowchart, maybe H4 to M15? For example, I understand the POY selection flowchart complements, but for example, as long as there's an M15 which meets most of the POI criteria, do we then entry model straight based off the pro order flow or wait for a 15? So basically, so just for example, obviously we are trading this pro trend. So pro trend, right? And pro order flow, like we're not leaving from any sort of demand level down here. So if we chalked up, this would still be a pro order flow move. So we could look for our lower time frame confirmations in a 15-minute POI. If for some reason there was a demand level here and we chalked up, we would need to see the 15-minute real line and then be able to take this down like this, right? So yeah, I don't know if that answers everything, but yeah, they work in harmony, right? They're designed to work together. So like I said, we're in the, I keep saying it, I'm so sick of hearing myself say it, but I'm working on getting this dialed in a little bit more in the next few weeks. You guys can see that there's a lot of moving parts in our Notion sort of calendar between Dave and I. We've got tons of shit on the go, and it's kind of like our system works really well right now. We're looking to refine it and be able to have it look a little bit better and be a little bit easier to kind of understand and maneuver around, but it's not been a top priority because we're trying to get all of these videos out and get the site built. You can fund Fusion as a Canadian with e-transfer, takes 5 minutes. I have no personal experience with Blueberry. Yeah, so the only issue with Blueberry as well is that they don't let people from Ontario sign up. Doug Ford's got something in place. I don't know what it is, but yeah, there's a restriction. You're not allowed to trade with them. Yeah, there's no stupid questions. In that case, is it safe to say H4 mitigation isn't necessary as long as M15 lines up well? Can you, I'm not sure if I'm understanding fully. So like, just for example, like, so in the case, is it safe to say that H4 mitigation? So let's say this was like an H4 POI right here, and for whatever reason, we saw our chalk before it. You're asking whether or not it would be valid to take trades?
Hi,
Hey,
can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi, okay, yeah. So I think the main question is because in the previous community they had a great emphasis on H4 POI mitigations first before looking for any other order flow shifts. So a bit more confused because I think when I came to Fractals initially, I understood the entry criteria as an entry flow model pretty well.
Yeah.
However, I think because at the end of the day we're all just trading M15, so I'm a bit confused on how to get to the M15. Like, do we just need to wait for does the initial M15 order flow shift need to hit a H4 POI before the rest of them?
So
it's very hard for me to phrase the question because I don't think I know. So
yeah, so depending on where you're sitting in price, right? Like obviously up in something like this, you're going to want to see, like, let's say H4 get mitigated. We want to see it shift and then ideally come back up, whatever, right? But like taking trades within these, and again, I'm not sure if I'm answering this correctly, so just correct me if I'm wrong, but the highest probability pivot points will come on an H4 mitigation, right? But waiting for H4 mitigations, it takes some time. So the reason we've designed the flowchart with more of like a 15-minute tone to it is because, quite frankly, we know that we'll dive into here and then probably make a new low, right? So this is not necessarily an H4 mitigation. The H4 mitigation is somewhere up here, right?
Yeah, got it.
Does that
So
make sense?
yeah, it makes more sense. Yeah, but for example, okay, so the POI which you marked, right? So it's swap liquidity, everything. So let's just say that's a valid M15 POI, right? So upon the tap of that POI, we can just look for the entry model.
Yeah, and like, I mean, basically, because this is pro trend, pro order flow, right? Like trend is established, probably swing point, we could say here and here right now with the M15, right?
Yeah.
Correct. So if that's the case, like
yes.
Premium, discount, somewhere up in here, this is where we're looking. We're looking for a level of liquidity to take, right? To be able to essentially get us involved. Like I said, we want to induce this. Ideally, we'd like to see it break here and then come up here, because otherwise now this would act as potential inducement to then come up like this, right? Make sense?
Yeah, makes sense. But I guess my question would then be, I guess because we're taking into account a lot of liquidity concepts, right? Is there a more mechanical way to
view liquidity?
Classify? For example, like we always don't take the first tap, or like liquidity. Does it have to be like structural liquidity, for example? Like currently where your mouse is, like does it have to break down first?
It would need to break down first.
Yeah, before like the sweep back up, it's like that. You consider that point inducement.
That's right.
As compared to just okay.
Exactly. So there's no real mechanical way to kind of interpret these things, and the reason why is because, quite frankly, if you jump on the charts right now, this POI would only be relevant if this broke this low, right? Whereas now, this POI is not a level that I would want to trade from, because ultimately this could run this high, come back into here and take all of this out, because this is now the sweep, and then taking this down like this, right?
Yeah, with imbalances on top.
Depending how we sort of develop, you have to understand like where the weak areas are, what's going to get ran to be able to fuel that next move. So you can see how it can be kind of complicated to talk about this in more of like that black and white sort of manner, because quite frankly, it's going to and that's the whole reason why we meet with the community almost every single day, is to be able to show these things, right? And be able to say like, okay, like this is not a valid POI based on the fact that there was nothing to take into it, so this becomes liquidity to take into the higher POI, right?
All right, got it.
Cool.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Yeah,
we are working on it. Believe it or not, like this is all stuff that we're trying to get as more of like that, like the sauce pot, whatever the hell we're going to call that, like little section within the website. I'm going to work on finding very specific examples. This is actually a really good one, so I'm actually going to mark that out and put a note to kind of talk about, like right now, this POI would gain relevance if it broke here to be able to gain relevance. If it doesn't break here first, this becomes liquidity to be able to fuel into this move and then possibly come down further. So this is a good example. So I can use these two.
Is it possible to have like more of this kind of examples, like once your course is up? Because I think the previous video attached to the 15-minute and as in attached to the entry model flowchart is more on the entry model. Yeah,
that's exactly what all the videos are going to be. It's all stuff like this. That's like the whole like core concepts that we're bringing out, is all of these different things with actual like on-screen examples that'll be smaller video segments of like 5-10 minutes, just to be able to show you the different ways that we look at inducement, et cetera, et cetera. Cool. Awesome possum. Yeah, there's like I said, there's lots to come. It's been, in all fairness, not that you need to know this, but it's been a little bit of a journey to be an educator and be a good educator at that. It's a work in progress. I'm constantly trying to find better ways to explain things, knowing how to do something, and then also knowing how to articulate it and be able to show somebody how to do it is something that I think a lot of people struggle with. So yeah, it's yeah, definitely push the boundaries of being an educator and showing how we sort of do. Yeah, I'm doing my best, guys. And like I said, the more feedback I get, the easier it becomes for me to understand what is essentially needed to be able to deliver this content. It's a work in progress. Like I said, you guys are my eyes and ears. I can't make moves unless I know where I stand with everybody, right? So never feel that you're asking a silly question or that you're going to offend myself or Dave or any of the other educators in the program. We're here to help. We're here to make this the best experience possible for all of our members. And quite frankly, the only way we can do that is with the feedback that you guys give us. So you can see this nice reaction right underneath these levels. This is the level that takes liquidity, breaks up, pushes forward. A lot of people are going to get trapped here, sweep down. So we got Euro JPY. Same thing. This might push actually. It's possible to take all of this one last time. Will there be an annual membership soon? Saw that section on the Discord, but yes, there will be. So we're working. Yeah, there's lots of yeah, lots of fun things that are coming. Lots of fun things. You just have to sit and wait for now, and yeah, there'll be all kinds of cool stuff that's coming up in the next little bit. Annual will definitely be one of them. Decade membership. I'm going to talk to yeah, just the people that are involved with this build, and I don't want to say that like we'll ever offer a lifetime one, but I let me yeah, you never know. Honestly, you never know at this point what might be offered. We're trying to again make this the best experience possible for yeah, for all members, right? So it's just a matter of yeah, figuring out what makes sense. And Century mentorship I've worked in. Focusing, I'm concerned about the expansion, but totally respect why you want to do this. I like the homework for people at the different levels in order to keep yeah, so Claire, the expansion is going to happen over time, right? It's not going to be something that's going to happen overnight. And the way that we want to do this is to be able to we want to be able to cater to all different levels within fractal markets. So the way that we sort of have this in mind, and again, we need to figure out exactly how to make this work, is to be able to segregate these people into specific groupings, like I said, based off of the homework. So it's still going to feel exactly the same. You guys will basically get different homework lessons. You might get different Zoom lessons. It's all up in the air stuff right now. You don't have to worry about us scaling into the thousands of people in the next few months or even by end of year. I don't think. It's just yeah, it's just something that we're inevitably looking to do. It's the next move for us. There's a huge gap in the market to be able to educate you know, on a very high level and be able to kind of cater to all these people and be able to have them all kind of living in the same community and not have it feel like a big community. Not sure if this is what you'll want to do, but it is not possible to have the top-down markups of the trades you have taken. Would be great to use for analysis. Yeah, so excuse me. What we're going to be doing is instead of meeting every single day, we're going to be meeting twice a week moving forward. We're going to have our and again, this might not happen for a week or two, but it is coming to be able to, again, deliver just better content, higher quality. I find meeting every single day and talking about trades that don't necessarily exist and trying to make things line up with the flow chart or whatever it might be, oftentimes isn't like the best approach. So what I'd like to do moving forward is trades that I do take have a specific channel with my top down, and then say, okay, homework for today is to go and actually look through all of this stuff and be able to build your case study around what it is that I looked at, and see if you can find how this sort of fits in with our modeling system, and then having trade recaps on Wednesday as well as Friday, instead of having them every single day, because quite frankly, we don't have trades that set up every single day that are very high quality. So anyways, we're working on optimizing the system a little bit further. It's going to take a little bit of time. But yeah, there's going to be some gradual changes, a little bit of growing pains, but we're going to get there. Don't stress out. It's still going to be the same exact community. Nothing's going to change in that respect. I was thinking the other day, it'd be cool if one of these days when you are getting into a trade at any hour, just hit the screen. Yeah, I can definitely do that. Throw that in the content section suggestion, please, Matt, so that I can just kind of put that into my notes. And I'd be happy to sort of record that, even if it's not with the community. Is it possible to have those you have already taken, though? Is it possible to have those that you have already taken? In terms of markups, are you talking about the markups that I've already taken, like trades taken this week? Or in general? Yeah, I can do the ones for this week. That's fine. So it's my girlfriend's birthday today. We're leaving to head home. Our parents live about 6 hours away. So timing is not super great, and I've got a pretty full day today. But sometime this weekend, if I have a chance to jump on my computer, I'm happy to get some markups done. I have most of them already saved anyways. So yeah. I do love the smaller intimate group feel, not something I'm used to either. As we do homework, we will get feedback, someone marking up our charts to see where we misunderstand. Exactly. So the kind of the vision for this, and just so that you guys can understand like what it is that we're trying to do, is that we will have a different team member allocated to, like, let's say a group of 50 people. So and like obviously this will grow over time, and obviously like like it might go up to 100 people per we'll call it like a tiered system. Tier 1 would be top tier traders, they're funded, they can prove that they're funded, whatever it is, and then going down to like tier 2, 3, 4, and 5, somebody who maybe doesn't do as much homework, they don't have enough, as much time, whatever it might be. So it's like a breakout group for having people that are very much on your same wavelength. And every month, as homework is assigned, we can start to assign different roles based on how much homework is done, your understanding. Yeah, smaller fractals with exactly. So obviously, this is something that's going to take a little bit of time to build out and kind of get the mechanics of it in place. But the idea is that we could all live cohesively in this same sort of ecosystem, which is fractal markets, and have people that are catering specifically to your skill level. That's the idea. I'm also about to dive deep and screenshot trades taken on the past vids. I'm personally not going to be doing that. I've got way too much stuff on my plate to be going back in hindsight. But moving forward, what I'll do is, like I said, because we're going to start doing trade recaps twice a week as opposed to 5 days a week, I will start to post my recaps every single day, detailed markups, all that kind of stuff, and be able to explain what it is that I'm doing. And then, can level up as we send more homework. Well, that's so we are trying to build an incentive-based community, right? So the idea is that everybody's paying the same amount, but you can level up and be a part of a better pool of traders, provided that you're actually putting forth the work to get to the end goal of becoming funded and then funding yourself, right? And being able to essentially be in a network of people that are very much on the same level as you. So that's kind of the end goal, right? Is to be able to have that ecosystem where you can level up within that same community and it doesn't go unnoticed, and you basically be able to be among higher quality traders, right? Everyone will be beginner until proven otherwise, right? And I've been toying with the idea of having like a certificate system similar to, you know, my Forex funds, E8, whatever it is. And like once you hit a certain level, you'll get like a certificate PDF that you can print out. And you'll have kind of like a different tiered subscription based off of your level, right? And it's to keep everybody kind of moving along at the pace that they're intended for. My words are not coming out this morning. But yeah, that's the vision. That's like the entire, yes, we're going to have different pairs, Nick with the US 30, exactly. So we want to be able to unlock different portions of channels based off of your roles. And again, we're going to be, anyways, there's lots of things that are in the works right now. I can't say everything right this second because quite frankly, we're going to need a little bit more time to just kind of see exactly what the priorities are right away. But as it stands right now, one of the things that we're really trying to value is kind of having different tiers within the community to be able to be amongst traders that are on very much on the same path as you. There's only two of us. We are still smashing out the website and foundation series. Exactly. So we're only two people right now. The plan is to, I think Dave and I had like a rough idea of anywhere from 50 to 100 members per group. You'll have your own personal coach that you'll be able to deal with, ideally like all hours of the day, whatever it is, when they're available, they'll have their own schedule. Again, we're looking to expand, but we're looking to expand in a way that is going to make sense for both, the people that are involved with the actual community itself, as well as the community members. So. Oh, goodness gracious. Okay. So yeah, like I said, Maddie, who else was there? Content suggestions. I was thinking the other day, it'd be cool to see these. Okay, cool. Written trade plan on Sunday. Awesome. Again, guys, use the content suggestions page as much as possible so that we can basically be able to cater to all these things. Otherwise, if we don't know, we can't do it. Having tiers is actually pretty big brain. Left the previous community as I felt progress plateaued after a while. I mean, we're traders too, right? Like within this community. And one of the things that we've, sort of valued with our group is that intimate feel, right? So from a business standpoint, you have to understand that the idea with a business and any business is to grow, right? And we don't want to plateau either with our business model. And in order to do that, we're like, okay, well, here's our problem. If we grow too big, we're going to attract not our ideal clientele. But if we grow big and we have places to segregate people at different levels of their trading career, we can scale this thing properly, right? So it's a work in progress. There's 130 people in here right now. We're not going to be at 6,000 members by the end of the year. You don't have to worry about us growing that big, at least I don't think. But just know that once we do start to scale more and more and more, we have a plan to be able to make sure that it still feels the exact same way within the community that you signed up for originally. That's the whole idea, is that we want to keep that same intimate element that most people love about this community. One question about EU. When do you think we can look for longs to play the pullback? Honestly, I would look for like a higher time frame order flow realignment of some sort. I'm not trying to catch bottoms. I'm not trying to do any of that. Like ultimately, I would like to see a structure level go, right? Ideally, we'd like to see this go. We'd like to see this come into here. We'd like to see order flow align, and then liquidity to take and liquidity to target. It's very simple. In any trade environment, if we are trending in a specific way, okay, obviously we're trending down. We look for sells until sells are no longer valid. Where would they no longer be valid? The first level that we'd look would be once this breaks, okay, then we could look for possibly selling into this area right here, which would be counter trend technically. But the idea is that when we come into this level, we sweep down, we push up, build liquidity, sweep back down. The theory is that now we're starting to enter this higher time frame complex pullback. The only thing I could see being a concern is if the coaches traded differently, you know, or because they're set in stone of the flowcharts. Is this something that you like to see being a non-issue? Like, what if you graduate to a higher level in certain? So I'm going to tell you something right now. What fractal markets really is, and what I really identify with the brand is how we trade, right? And in order for somebody to come on and be a team member that is involved with our community, the bottom line is if you are not trading our modeling system, you ultimately won't have a place here. The idea behind this entire community, the whole reason why I started a community in the first place, is to continuously hold myself accountable to the plan that I've developed. And if somebody else is not going to value that and they're going to feel that they want to introduce another concept within that same thing, this isn't going to be a place for them, right? Like ultimately we are looking to educate people on trading based off of our concepts and the way that we sort of interpret the market. So every single person that will be involved with fractal markets will need to prove that they obviously have a very, very good understanding of what it is that we do in terms of how we trade and how to effectively teach our trading plan. No two coaches, no. So, and again, like what makes fractal markets what it is, at least the way that I sort of view it, is that we don't go anywhere. We don't necessarily look at anything but the way that we trade, right? So the biggest thing is that we identify with how we interpret the plan, how we interpret the strategy. And I don't think that, well, not that I don't think, that is never going to leave. Our core concepts, just for example, are not going to be this elusive, like it's all going to be in relation to how we already trade to basically prime you to getting to our entry model systems, right? That's why I came to Tyson in the first place about a year ago. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to name drop, but I think we all know where we're talking about. There's some bigger groups, and no two traders trade alike, and that's cool. Like there's a place for that too. And what I like about those groups is that it kind of shows you that two people can look at a chart and see completely different setups. The idea of how this feels so intimate within this group is because we all see the same thing. That's the vision, right? That's the idea. It's to be able to see things the way that everybody else is already seeing them, and not just I'm looking for a counter trend move against 15-minute order flow, and then somebody else is waiting for the pro trend move and waiting for order flow to realign. Like we're not looking for different things. We're all looking for that same exact trade sort of setup. There are a lot of what ifs, guys. We will handle any problem if and when it arises, but we are very intentional with how we are building this out, and we're not unaware of the potential issues. And again, like I said, the best thing for us is to continuously hear this feedback from you guys so that we can understand what's needed, and like we're happy to address any concerns. But trust me when I say that most things that you guys are bringing up, if not all things that you guys have already brought up, have already been thought through very, very heavily. And we already have actionable steps in place to be able to sort of combat these things. We're not looking to scale this to the moon and be able to lose customers over time. We're looking to keep that same exact intimate feel that we've sort of established across the board within the community, and be able to cater to more people. And that's just a business move on our part, right? It's the thing that makes the most sense. So Excuse me. Looks like we're going to be waiting again for setups. I appreciate you, Nick. Nick's been here. You've been here since day one, I think, Nick, if I'm not mistaken. And we take it super serious when people say that. Well, not quite since day one. Okay. But I mean, yeah, Nick doesn't work for us. We've never met face to face, and this is the truth. This is what we do. We take a lot of pride in what we do, and being able to make sure that this is a community for the people, right? And that's never going to to me, that's never going to change. Appreciate it, Nick. So John and Eric have both done master classes with me in the past as well. I believe January, if I'm not mistaken, for John, and either January or November for Eric. Yeah, so no two better people to vouch. Day one of this group was March 5th, 2022. We are on our 4th month. First masterclass in September. That's right. That's right. We're always looking to cater, man. That's ultimately been our job from the absolute get-go, is to make sure that everybody is getting what they need from the group and understanding what the masses sort of need. So here's a good example on, excuse me, on what is this? USD CAD coming into here. There's no real valid trade. We're going to want to see a run on liquidity and then possibly see a rollover. News in 1 minute. Awesome. Let it do its thing. So let's watch. I appreciate everything you guys are doing. Still fairly new and learning how this group works. So love what this community is so far. And constant live stuff on the charts. It's great to drill into. Yeah, man. Awesome. Awesome. Can I jump on the mic? Yeah. Go for it, Claire.
Hey, Tyson.
Hey.
Yeah, I just wanted to quickly confirm that I understood what you just said. So, yeah, so you just said that basically you were looking for this to get run, and is my understanding correct? That's because the liquidity here hasn't been taken yet. So the idea is that we need
That's correct.
liquidity to be taken somewhere, and then this
Exactly.
becomes the liquidity to target.
Exactly.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah. So
I
if
think I'm
this
starting to get it.
yeah, if this would have got broken, then that would have been our liquidity point or our inducement point to come into here to potentially come down. But because we don't have inducement, to me, this becomes inducement for the higher POI to then run down.
Oh, nice. Perfect. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Sorry, just to piggyback off of Claire there.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you see this as also the break of the low?
It is the break of the low.
As like,
but we still need something to take, right? So this is actually the break right here, correct?
right.
So right now, this is just late sellers getting involved. To me right now, this will probably give a nice reaction, probably push us up into here tomorrow, and then this will get ran because the overall bigger picture is here and then here.
Mm-hmm.
You get what I'm saying?
Okay. Yeah, I think so.
Bottom line is like for us to trade, we always look for a level of liquidity to take into a POI. So if this would have broke down directly from here, this would have been the level to take into this POI, which would have given it a little bit more validity. Whereas right now, because we haven't continued to break down, we're ultimately looking for a run on liquidity to be able to then trade this lower.
I see. So it's more like the most recent take of liquidity.
That's right. But it's it's very
Ah.
fractal in that like you can use it
Mhm.
to complement your trade idea. So just for example, like we wouldn't have been able to necessarily take a trade in here, but maybe on a lower time frame there was liquidity to take here somewhere. So you could have traded this just into this weak area, right? But ultimately, our bigger move that we're looking to trade would essentially even just be something like this, coming in to take out liquid region and then drop down.
Right. Okay. Yeah, that makes more sense to me.
Cool. Look at the high probability areas. Look where liquidity builds in the market. Understand why it's left here, why this is left unmitigated. Because in order for this to get mitigated, we need orders here to be able to fulfill. So if they want to fill, like bigger institutions want to fill sell orders, they need buy orders, right? For every buyer, there's got to be a seller and vice versa. So if there's a bunch of buy orders that rest above here in the form of stop losses and breakout traders, it becomes very easy to fill those orders with sell orders. And then once that interaction and transaction is done, who's left? Now it's all these people, right? The brain sizzling? Just joking. True futures female. Amazing stuff. Amazing stuff. It's not seen as inducement unless it takes out the low. That's correct. It can't be inducement, right? This is coming into here. Bingo.
Yeah, so the way I think about it is like it's actually a fake. It's a fake move down to make people think that that is a new high. That little candle there is the new high, and everybody's going to trade from that, and then
exactly
take them out.
Exactly. We know better than that, though, right, Nick? Or we're getting to
sometimes.
Yeah, and like just like the catalyst of having news right now as well, like, man, what does news do? It builds to take and takes to build, right? Boom, and then boom. Or possibly even do something like this and then drop, right? All this left up here. But this comes from a sweep. This might be a stronger level to be able to trade away from. So we'll just wait and see. And just remember that we're not like putting a limit on here. We're looking for confirmations. Let order flow reestablish, get that same thing, get the sweep, boom, away we go. You don't have to be first. You have to correlate your rules, right?
Something that's good to go do. I don't know if anybody else wants to do it. I think it was Mr. D that did that with gold, which you're talking about. Now I've done that with EU. And if you go and actually use the little thing that tells you how many days it is, then it gives you more of a realization on your time frames. You can see like there's movements. Oh, it takes 7 days, but then you can still see that you're making like there's 400R available in 2 weeks. I mean, doing that actually helps you a lot. It helps you to understand that it takes time for things to happen, but that the R
right.
is there.
That's right. Like, and how many times have I fucking said this where, you know what, here's the bottom line with trading. You need 1 to 3 good trades per month and you'll have the best year of your fucking life. Not only from a financial perspective, but from a freedom perspective, right? You don't have to be on the charts 100 hours a fucking day to be able to get involved. Like, no, you know, if you look at the chart right now, how much, like, it is so easy to see where the market is going to push to. It's going to push to here. And if it doesn't, we don't have a trade idea. If we don't have this to take, don't fucking worry about it. Everybody's so worried about trading all day, every day, right? Session-based approach. You used to do it too. And I think what lacks in a lot of, the Forex industry right now is understanding that you can literally just sit and wait. You can literally just wait for the higher probability area to happen. So look at, for us to really get involved here, what we would want to see is a drive in, a sweep, a push down, right? Level of liquidity to take, come into here, realign on the 1 minute, same thing, and away we go. You know how long that takes? You know what's going to happen, or you have a really good idea of what's going to happen, but even just drawing this roughly right there, okay, from here over to about this level, we're 18 hours away from a trade. Hardest part of trading is not trading. It's correct. Out of curiosity, how many of you guys, drop a 1 if you resonate with this, how many of you guys felt the need to trade every single day before joining this community? Follow-up question, drop a 2 if you realize now that you don't need to trade every day and that valid trade setups are not always available. Drop a 2. So out of curiosity, for everybody that's answering these, how do you feel now? How does it feel to know that you're more in control of the setups that you want to take? Leave a little blurt. Let's hear it, because this is what we do, right? Like, that's the whole idea with trading. Everybody feels so rushed to be able to click the button. They want to be able to click. They want to be able to feel that satisfaction of their trade going. That, like, fuck that shit, man. Patience is everything. Just sit and wait. If your POI doesn't get hit, you don't even have a trade to start looking at. There's a reason why the POI flowchart comes first. Once all of this is met, then we go to the top down. And that's a big reason why we're looking to diversify across the majors now, is to be able to, you're not going to have a trade idea every day, but you're going to be able to see how these things frame up, right? Whether or not you trade every single pair is totally up to you. But the idea is that you'll be able to see how these things frame up in real time so that you can actually start and continue to trade them, right? Otherwise, yeah, it's gonna sting, right? It's really gonna sting when you get wicked out of something for a 0.3 or a 0.5 or a pip or whatever it is, and then it goes in that direction. But knowing that the next trade is literally right around the corner is, yeah, what's going to kind of keep you at ease. 15-minute realignment from a 15-minute zone unless we hit a refined zone. Correct. I mean, it's better trading wise for sure, but still not completely ease on psychology for me. I used to trade very often in the past. It's fair, man. It's pretty tricky, man. Trading is very, very tricky. Very hard on the head, to be honest. So remember, if we took out these levels, right, which would technically be an M15 structure point, however you want to view it, just assume counter order flow. Anytime that you're, I don't know if we're pro or counter, what should your default be? Knowing that pro order flow is more aggressive and counter order flow is more conservative, just wait for what's the rush? Y'all are sitting here fucking watching a trade set up for 3 days and then worried about whether or not you're pro or counter order flow? Chill. Let it realign. You don't have to catch the top. That's not a sustainable model, is it? Imagine trading this pro order flow and seeing every 1 minute fucking area in here and then fucking unloading on the 5 second. Take like 30 losses, man. Pro order flow is this. Okay, we chalk up, we chalk down, order flow has realigned. We can now establish the levels in which we'd like to trade from to then be able to take this pro order flow. Stop trying, you're not a magician, you're not trying to pick a top. Your job is not to get a top. Your job is to follow what the money is doing. If you don't understand that, that should be the main focus for you. We are not top and bottom traders. We let the confirmations show. Everything that we do, everything that we've built to this point, trade plan wise, flow chart wise, is to put you in the highest probability situations to be able to get you involved with these pivotal points. Let the market come to you. Look at this. I had to put this in. For me, I have moments too. I hit 2 losses in a row trying to pick a top. Happens to me sometimes. I would say it happens every other week. And I got to remind myself, don't be a fucking idiot. You spent all this time fucking teaching this plan, developing this plan, trade it. So it happens to me too. All good. Keep moving forward. Not even interested in the lower time frame. Stay away from there. Let's look at USD JPY. See, there's that liquidity to take. Fractal market simplified. Take on liquidity. 15-minute order flow shift. Liquidity to take into refined POY that caused 15-minute order flow shift. Look for liquidity. Like that's all we do, right? Like that. Like that's. In a nutshell, that's like the simplest way to put it. That's exactly what we do day in, day out. Keep things extremely, extremely simple. Yeah, keep them mechanical, understand what needs to happen. If you can't spot where liquidity is in the market, I mean, I think Brad Wise says it the best, you know, if you can't spot liquidity, you will be liquidity. And it's not always in the form of equal highs and equal lows. It's weak areas, understanding where areas are built up with orders. If there's nothing to take into the POY, all that fun stuff, right? And the other thing is that the plan doesn't work every time. Newsflash, just so everybody knows, we don't have a fucking foolproof system. There's no such thing. But we put ourselves in very high probability areas to be able to understand what the next move could potentially be. I hate to do this, guys, but there's nothing framing up right now. I don't know what to say. I'm not going to sit here and just watch paint dry. USD CAD is pretty well on my radar for a scale in. USD JPY, potentially looking for a scale in if we break down, come back up, take this level, and then possibly drop down. Till then, yeah, and trust me, like, believe me when I say this, like, I don't trade every day. There's not going to be something that frames up every day. I know what I want to see. It doesn't mean it's going to frame up that way. So when it does frame up that way and you have a plan of attack, all wars are won before they are ever fought. Having a game plan for when your setup does show itself, you'll know exactly what to do. Cool. So like I said, I'm not going to sit here and watch paint dry. I'm sick of hearing myself talk at this point. It's been, we're going on, what are we into? Hour and a bit, hour and 15 minutes. Yeah, that's it. So what I'll do is, like I said, the main thing I'm looking for is this POY to get hit. We want to see it get swept, order flow shift, and then we'll look for a trade like this. Okay. That's my big one for this week. Looking for a scale in, potentially. Hopefully you guys enjoy this. Lots more to come. Like I said, guys, I cannot express this enough when I say we are literally just getting warmed up. We are starting to understand what it is that we are going to be as a community, what we are striving to become. And man, believe me when I say there is so much fucking coming. We are just working tirelessly in the background right now. So I'm going to go get back to work, get this content going for everybody. Claire, can you please shoot me a DM right now? We'd like to use your case study that you just put out because it was so freaking awesome. Just want to know your Discord name and all that kind of stuff if you're okay with us sharing it on our page. So yeah, just shoot me a DM and we'll see if we can get that sorted out. Guys, also remember, end of day markups, if you put them in, they're really awesome, really well marked up. We're happy to share them at any time. Make sure that your Discord profile has your Instagram name in it to just be able to make sure that we can share it and not have to reach out to you. So anyways, have a good one. We'll see you guys later.